It was another lovely summer's morning on the Northwestern Railway. The sun was out, and as early as it was already a lovely warm sun. The engines woke up feeling bright and cheerful. Another fine day for gliding gracefully along the line with the express. And I do love a good summer sun like this. It always makes my paint shine. And I do love nice days like this. It makes everyone so cheerful and everywhere look beautiful. Oh yes, the engines were indeed feeling pretty good today as they simmered comfortably getting ready for work. And that was when the Fat Controller came along. We're expecting a lot of visitors and goods today. The summer season is always busy, so make sure you all work hard for me.
Yes, sir.
Good, that's what I like to hear. Thomas, I have an important job for you. The shops are running low on ice cream, and the ice cream factory has made a fresh new batch. I want you to deliver them for me. Yes, sir. And as soon as Thomas was ready, he set off. Thomas did a fine job with the ice creams. He had delivered to all the stops he needed and was now on his last stop, which was the station shop. The station master was very pleased. Right on time, Thomas. Well done. Thank you, sir. Thomas waited while the last load was unloaded. And that was when he saw a very interesting looking car. It was a bright green Mini Cooper. He had never seen a green one before. I wonder who that car belongs to. The car parked up, albeit in a very funny way. And a man wearing a tweed jacket and carrying a teddy bear got out. They came onto the platform to look at the trains. Oh, look, Teddy! Trains! Oh, hello. I've never seen you before. What's your name? Bean. Mr. Bean. This is Teddy. And I'm Thomas. It's very nice to meet you. Our pleasure. Mr. Bean then noticed all the ice creams being unloaded. They did indeed look good. These look good. I'll just have it. He took one from one of the crates and was about to walk off of it until Thomas whistled to him. You will have to pay for that, you know. Yes. There. He showed Thomas his loose change. Thomas laughed. I don't need it. The shop is over there. Oh, right. Yes, thank you. But as soon as he paid for the ice cream, that was when the trouble began. Silly Mr. Bean forgot to put the handbrake on in his car, and it started to move. Cinders and ashes! Mr. Bean, your car's rolling away! What? No! Come back! Come back! Whoa! Thomas couldn't help but laugh. Not at the incident itself, but because of the way Mr. Bean was acting. A little while later, a police officer arrived at the scene. He helped to clear some of the mess, but Mr. Bean was most upset. His car had suffered a little damage. Oh no, now what? Thomas came to cheer him up. Don't worry, Mr. Bean. I know a workshop. I can take it to be repaired for you. Aw, you'll do that for me? Of course. I love helping others. In no time at all, Thomas was ready with the car transporter, and Mr. Bean's car was loaded on. Mr. Bean wanted to come too, but instead of riding in Thomas's cab, silly Mr. Bean climbed up on top of the car transporter where his car was, and sat inside. Thomas then set off, completely unaware that he had a stowaway. Thomas travelled cheerfully along the line. And whistled to James when he saw him. Hello, James! Hello, Thomas! Hello! And James was so baffled by what he just saw that he wasn't paying attention and hit the buffers in the siding. James wasn't hurt, but he was very bewildered.
Oops, sorry.
Mr. Bean, what are you doing?
I wanted to come through.
Well, in future, ride in my cab. It's safer that way.
Oh, I forgot. There.
He had only just remembered that he had not been wearing his seatbelt. Thomas chuckled. Mr. Bean was one very interesting man. Thomas got the car to its destination and met Percy there. Hello, Thomas. Lovely day, isn't it? It sure is. And a very interesting one too, as you'll see. Is that because there's someone in the car on top of your transporter? Yes, this is Mr. Bean. He had a little accident at the station, so I brought his car for repair. And he wanted to come too. But in a very interesting way. Mr. Bean, this is Percy. He's my best friend.
Hello, Percy.
Hello, Mr. Bean. It's nice to meet you. Who's your friend?
Oh, this is Teddy. Say hello, Teddy.
Teddy waved to Percy when the workshop manager came up. Yes, sir?
My car rolled away and it got damaged.
He pointed to his car and explained all that happened. Yes, we can have a look, sir. The car was soon unloaded and a thorough examination was carried out. We can have it ready by the end of the day for you, sir. But in the meantime, you'll have to get about around here without a car.
Oh, now what'll I do?
I can help with that. You can spend the day with me if you like, Mr. Bean. I can take you so many places.
Oh, thank you, Thomas. You're a good friend.
It's easy to see why he's my best friend, eh?
Oh, yes. Come on, Teddy, let's go.
So he climbed aboard Thomas's cab, and with a whistle, Thomas set off. So while he was awaiting for his car to be repaired, Thomas showed Mr. Bean many places. They enjoyed looking at the animals at the farm. Thomas even showed him the engine sheds. Soon, Mr. Bean was quite hungry, so Thomas took him to the station restaurant so he could have something to eat. After Mr. Bean had finished his lunch, Thomas was ready with Annie and Clarabelle. Mr. Bean was going to have a ride with him down his branch line when Gordon came in with his express.
Oh, look, Teddy. He's huge.
Yes, that's Gordon. He always pulls the expresses, he's so big.
New friend, Thomas?
Yes, this is Mr. Bean. His car is being repaired, so I'm taking him places in the meantime. While Thomas explained, Mr. Bean went up to Gordon for a closer look. He even stood inside his cab.
Oh, look at all those controls. What do they do?
Don't touch anything in there, Mr. Bean.
Righto.
But his elbow accidentally knocked Gordon's switch, and Gordon slowly began to move.
Whoa! Ah!
Don't panic, Mr. Bean! Just pull the lever, he knocks back towards you! Luckily, Mr. Bean did so, and managed to stop Gordon from moving any further. Gordon felt relieved, as well as a little cross.
Watch what you're doing! Sorry. Ahem.
Mr. Bean turned around and found himself being looked at by the fat controller.
Hello. Hello. And what's me one ask you doing messing with my engines? It was an accident, honest.
Please, sir, this is Mr. Bean. He's spending the day with me because he had an accident with his car. It won't be finished until later. He doesn't mean any harm, honestly.
Very well then, Thomas. I'll forgive him this time, but he's not to do this again. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. That's settled then. And Thomas, what you have done for Mr. Bean today was very helpful of you, and I'm very happy with you. You're a really useful engine.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bean, my train is nearly ready. Do you still want to come?
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, don't go without me.
He got into Annie in the nick of time. The guard blew his whistle, and Thomas set off. Mr. Bean had a wonderful ride with Thomas. And despite the odd clumsy antic of his, all of the other engines enjoyed meeting him too. Even James grew to quite like him after what had happened earlier. Later, Thomas pulled into the station, where the fat controller was waiting for him.
I have just received word that Mr. Bean's car is now repaired and waiting. I want you to fetch it, and you may take Mr. Bean with you if you wish.
Hooray! Yes! That's great, sir. But what about my passengers?
Don't worry, Thomas. Doug will take charge of the train from here. Quack, quack, quack. I don't quack for your information.
You'll have to forgive him, Doug. He's not totally unlike any man I've ever seen, but he's also never been here before. Well, not that I'm aware of, anyway. So with Mr. Bean in his cab, Thomas went to fetch the car, and Doug took charge of the train. Thomas and Mr. Bean arrived at the workshop, and Mr. Bean was so delighted to see his car fully repaired.
Oh, yes! Look, Teddy, it's repaired!
Yes, I did tell you we'd have it ready for you by this time, sir. Enjoy! Soon enough, the car was loaded back on top of the transporter, and Thomas was coupled up. Mr. Bean once again climbed up it and sat in the car. He put his seatbelt on. Thomas laughed. That man is so funny. With that, Thomas and Mr. Bean left the workshop. Soon, they were back at the point where they had started from, and the car was unloaded. Mr. Bean was so happy, but it was now time for him to go home.
Goodbye, Thomas.
Goodbye, Mr. Bean. It's been very nice spending the day with you. Come back soon.
I will.
Percy came in time to say goodbye too. Goodbye, Mr. Bean. I hope we can see you again soon.
Goodbye, Percy.
Mr. Bean leaned out of the window while driving to say a last goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.
Mr. Bean, watch out!
Huh? Ah!
Mr. Bean had to swerve out of the way of a blue three-wheeled car. The three-wheeled car swerved too, but lost control, rolled over, and stopped by the tunnel under the bridge, just narrowly missing an old police box. Oh my! Cinders and ashes! I hope the driver's alright. Oh no! Now that's 2 car accidents in one day!
Whoops! Sorry!
Thomas and Percy couldn't help but laugh amongst themselves. Do you think he'll ever come back? Yes, I reckon we'll see him again. But as we've learned today, we need to be careful whenever he's around. I wouldn't want to end up like that car. And the two friends had a good laugh, while the driver of the car pondered over his awkward situation.